Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. So excited to be back. We did not have the last episode, so we did miss you guys, but we are back. I don't know about you guys, refreshed. We had such an amazing time the past few days, so we definitely wanted to get together and share some of our reflections and things that we had learned from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Summit. And yeah, so much to share. So, we hope that you guys can not only join, but chime in, share what you've been up to, questions, ideas, insight. And I'm Aaliyah Johnson Roberts. I'm here with our friends. I'll let them introduce themselves and then we'll jump into talking.
I'm Damaris Alvarado Rodriguez, and I'm going to pass the ball to Dr. Obiama.
Hey, everybody, Dr. Obiama checking in, ready for an amazing show.
Yes. I missed you guys. Us having our conversations. But so Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Summit. All I can say, I sum it up, powerful. That's my word. One word, powerful. So just to let those of you who may not know, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses is a free program. Basically, you can, as a business owner, you can apply for this program. It is a 12-week program that is very structured. It is guided, and the whole focus is business growth. So for those who are trying to grow their businesses, they apply for this program. It does have some parameters around it, such as income, number of staff, and things like that. But again, for those who want to grow their businesses, they sign on. And I mean, it is the most strenuous. It's really packed. It's a lot of work, but it is extremely rewarding. And, I'm sure you guys seeing us together, not knowing that we not only are colleagues, but we also have been through, we're alumni at this point, but we weren't all in the program together. We have different points where we were in it. So I think, Obiama, you were which cohort? So it's cohorts.
Cohort 5, 2014.
Okay.
In PA,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cohort 23, the best one. Shout out to my fellow cohort members if they're on the line.
If my cohort 16 was on, they were so upset right now. They're like, so we call ourselves Sweet 16. So I'm cohort Sweet 16, and that was about like 5 years ago. 5 years ago. So the fact that you had, what did I say, over 2,500 people?
Yeah.
About 23.
Alumni there. Yeah. So over 2,500 business owners who had gone through this program was at this summit. And when I say, like, it absolutely is mind-boggling. I don't know. So I know I said the word powerful. What I'm going to do is I'll start it off. My first question was this. Why did you join the program? Why did you apply to be in Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses? So for me, it was at the point where we were getting ready to expand from one site to our second site for our early childhood education program. And, I heard about it. I know, Obiama, you had been through it. I knew a couple of other people who had gone through the program, and everyone had the same sentiments, right? You have to do it. It will take your business to the next level. And we've been talking a lot about this in the podcast, which is, in our industry, early childhood education, childcare. It's so passionate. It's such a passionate work that, this was straight business. It was all about business and creating systems and structures and learning how to grow your business financially. And what I loved about it, I honestly love the fact that it was not childcare focused. I wanted to really learn how to take my business to the next level and learn about business and how to be a better business owner. So that was the reason I joined. What about you, ladies?
So I joined because I was definitely at a point in my business where I was the face of my business, but I didn't understand the business. right? And so I didn't have a strong sense of the financial statements and the ins and out and all the intricacies, even though we were making a ton of money, but I was the face of it. So I was more, marketing. I was out front. I was doing the delivery of all the training and different things like that. But the the fundamentals of how to operate and scale, I knew, but I didn't know, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
I can explain it to you, but I didn't understand it for myself. Like I knew it. I had like this um unconscious competence. So
Okay.
Goldman Sachs really gave me the foundation that I needed to have confidence in what I was doing.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
Well, for me, I joined because I was in the beginning stages of a pandemic. It was during the stages that we were scared. I was the first time that I was scared for my business, right? My future growth. And I'm really like about controlling what I do, thinking about tomorrow. And when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh my gosh, what now? Right. Um, so I joined the Goldman Sachs and I needed some more meat and potatoes. I wanted to think more about being business minded. I've always been in different businesses. At the age of 21, I owned my first restaurant. At the age of 25, I had a billing and collection agency. So I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years since I think I was born into this. It was in my soul. And once I started the childcare business, I got kind of stuck there thinking, being in a mindset of I'm just a childcare person and forgetting the fact that I'm also a business person as well, right? I'm an entrepreneur and childcare is my business. And I wanted to join the Goldman Sachs to be amongst other business owners, other people that was like-minded, to bring me back to the reality of this is a business as well. I'm passionate about my business. I'm passionate about what I do. But at the end of the day, I'm also a business person, and getting the information and the resources and making these connections in there was really, really important to me. So that way my business could be sustainable and kind of like bring me back to that reality, right? Of this is my business. This is what I have to do to sustain my business and to think like a business person as well, a passionate business person, right? I'm still doing, community based work. I'm still doing a lot of what I'm intended to do, what I'm passionate about doing. But the Goldman Sachs literally leveraged me back out. So I'm really grateful to them. I'm grateful for having that platform. I'm grateful, for my fellow cohort members as well and keeping me in line, and really celebrating each other, finding people to really celebrate you is really ideal. And it's not because we want kudos, but sometimes we just need those gentle reminders that, hey, sis, you're doing it, and I get that a lot from them. So
Yeah.
that's what I got from that Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. And so it's interesting too, because I don't necessarily think I had any idea all of the benefits would come like it had. It was like, oh, first of all, I love school. So it's a curriculum. Awesome. I love it. I want in. Right. So it was like, oh my goodness, it's guided. Would you say?
I think Obiama stepped off. I think she probably lost the connection, but she'll be back. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I want to learn. I want to learn.
Yeah.
So, I was all for it. Again, I already said there were trusted individuals who were like, you should definitely do it. But there were things that they shared that we typically, I don't want to say we typically don't discuss, but I know for myself, I've never really had to have but so much of a marketing plan, right? Family referrals, that seemed to be really our biggest marketing tool. So to have these structured, um, you know, areas that we learned about, such as marketing or even pitching your business in a short amount of time. It was like, tell us what you do, tell us what your business is. There were definitely challenges. We learned about negotiations. Oh my goodness. that was so powerful because, you know, how much I don't necessarily think we always look at it as a need to negotiate in our business. So, you know, so when we had that module, I was like, okay.
I want to say something. You know, I do the modules, and it's so weird how life is, right? Through that module of the negotiations, I really couldn't connect to that module during the time of my cohort. That was one module that I was just like, nope, 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 I just can't. You know, and this was the first time, you know, everyone, all of my cohort members, even you guys, were raving about negotiations. And I was like, whatever. Like, I couldn't really, you know. So I went in to the seminar with Maury, right? And, you know, I went in there with an open mind. I went in saying, I said, I'm going to clear my head, clear my biasness, clear everything. And I'm going to go in with this open heart to retain, because I want to know what it is it about this particular module that everybody raves, you know. So I went in and I think I was with Obiama, and, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. I said, wow, I was able to connect. And this was like, what, 3 years later, you know, and I was able to connect with Maury, with what she was saying, you know, really wanting more out of it. So I was really excited to go back in. Right. And maybe I didn't retain anything from that module then, because I don't feel like I really did, you know, intentionally, but I did it over this seminar, over this weekend, this summit. I mean, so it was really exciting to me to have that opportunity to reconnect to that, you know?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good. Obiama, we were talking about negotiations, and I think it's an interesting point that you bring up, because when the module was coming up, it was like negotiation, but it was so much more than what we typically would think negotiations are about. We did have an exercise. I was so uncomfortable. We had to negotiate an object. Really didn't know. Um, did you need me? Did you need me to add? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we had to negotiate this object. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know the true value, and we had to learn these negotiating skills. But something she spoke about the other day, first of all, there's 2 things that I will never forget about her. It was annoying at that time, but she did it again at the summit. You had to put your cell phone away. Do not have your cell phone out. Do not have your laptop out, because you need to really be present in the moment. And, you know, I'm like, always have my phone. It's like, wait a minute, we're here for like, we would be there, what, 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, a whole day. And it's like, okay, put my cell phone up. So that was one. The second that she really reiterated again the past few days at the summit was the power that you bring to the negotiation table. And that part is internal. It was about, the other person has no idea that you have these insecurities or these questions about, how can I negotiate for what I really want? How much do I really think I'm worth, or my product is worth? It is about bringing this power from within to the table, and then trusting yourself to say, this is, you know, whatever that negotiation is. So for me, it wasn't necessarily about, you know, I want to win and get this price or this rate, or, you know, it was about being able to tap within yourself and not question yourself, and, you know, bring your best to the table. And I was like, it was just a reminder, because for all those who follow me, I've been talking about the power of the subconscious mind, and it related. You know, it's kind of like sometimes we, you know, have that, we have that self-talk in our mind, we're questioning ourselves, but that person has no idea that you have those questions. So it's like, bring your best self, and, you know,
Yeah. Make it work. So
and make it work.
we have a friend. I don't know if you want to bring him on.
Devin?
Yeah, Devon
Oh,
Mitchell.
Devon.
Yes. Let's just make sure that he's able to.
Hi, Devon. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Hey.
Special surprise guest.
Yes, this is it's a welcome surprise. Thank you so much.
Welcome,
No,
welcome.
thank you.
Let's let Devon introduce yourself. If you can just tell us who you are, What do you do? And your cohort, the best cohort ever.
Oh,
Cohort, and we'll take it from there.
awesome. Well, thank you for the invite. My name is Devon Mitchell. I am the co-founder and CEO of DSN Corporation. We are a holding company for a Anytime Fitness franchise, an oil and gas staffing company, a solar company, and an import-export organization. So I graduated from cohort 23 in Philadelphia with my good friend Damaris, and I did not get to meet Miss, is it Aaliyah Johnson Roberts? I did
Yes.
get to meet you this week, and I did meet Doctor. Let me see if I, please, if I screw the name up, my apologies. You know what? Could you tell it to me so I can say it correctly?
Obiama.
Thank you, Dr. Obiama. Yeah, it was phenomenal this past the shortest 3 days that I've ever spent with 2,500 people. Um, and I am one of those raving fans of Maury. Don't ask me. I can talk about those conversations all day. But what I would like to
Oh, I
have
know. You've been
well,
talking to me about her for 3 years.
yes, I've been like, no, you need to go recheck. You need to go recheck. Like,
Yes, and I'm a Maury fan. I came out being
Well,
a Maury fan,
Kevin,
and I'm okay with it. I'm good with it. I was like, I was wrong. She was
I drug
amazing.
her. I drug
Yes.
her. I
oh,
literally,
you did. Well, thank
Yeah, I
you.
drug
sure
her.
did.
I was
I was
like,
like, all right, let me put my big girl panties on and let me
Yeah,
go over there. But
solar
listen, I was
during.
able to connect. I was able to connect. I loved it. I loved it. Very
Great,
humble,
great.
very
Uh,
humbling experience.
yes, she. I don't know what it is, but there's times that you work with certain people, and there's just this sense that spaces are allowed for you to enter and then kind of learn some things about yourself, right? And however whomever that is, but Maury does it, that's their secret sauce, right? That allows you to kind of get to a place really quickly, and then you just show up and say, you know what, this is who I am, and the room is going to know who I am, and you know what, that's their problem, right? I'm just here to share, and so that is probably the greatest thing I could say what I got out of negotiations, right? Is that you know what you bring to the table, right? And all of those things that you show up with, sometimes you're like, I don't really want to hit them with everything, right? Like, and then because you do that, it shows up. So the other person's like, hey, there's something going on over there, right? But you don't know that you're doing it. So, what I've learned is to go, look, when you show up to a negotiation, because we're always negotiating, right?
Right.
Show up, bring everything you've got, like bring your whole toolkit, bring your family, bring everything that you have, and then leverage it, right? Because when you do start working with whomever you're going to be working with, you're going to bring everything. So why not start with everything, and that person gets to see that, hey, this is someone I want to work with. I don't need to have three conversations with them. I just need to have one.
That's it.
And from that one, if you can't make the deal, then you gotta go back to the drawing board and sorry, I gotta figure this out.
I was
I
just
think
saying that to Abiyama this morning. I said, if they say no, they say no. Something I came home empowered. I don't know about you guys, right? So the first thing I did yesterday was come home and kiss my children, kiss my husband, obviously, and dropped everything and said, let's go to the pool. Let's go to the pool. We're just gonna reunite for a minute because I needed that moment to reconnect with my children, drop everything because I was so overwhelmed with so much information, so much networking, so much thing. It was very overwhelming, to be mixing up. And woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think I dreamt of what to do today and just made some powerful moves. I was just like, bam, 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 bam. So Maury was probably, in my dream somewhere saying, get up and do it, negotiate. Because I was on the phone going to Obiama and I was like, you know what? Scared money makes no money. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ask for that money. And if they say no, it's okay. I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to find money to do what I'm doing, you know? So it was pretty empowering this morning. I feel like I'm more empowered because of the summit, you know? It just revived me. I don't know about you guys. How are you feeling today?
So go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it was
Well,
you.
I was okay. So many things. So many things. So I definitely was empowered. It was definitely the right shot. That I needed. I needed like a booster shot of you're exactly where you need to be doing exactly what you need to be doing with the people that you are currently, doing what you're doing with, that type of thing. Just being in a really good space to say you're not alone. I think that was the biggest thing for me coming away, seeing so many people across culture, across, ethnic backgrounds, and that underneath all of it, we are all black, white, brown, whatever, whatever your, income level is, whatever your religion, like at the end of the day, we're all dealing with the exact same struggles.
Right.
And so I left with this feeling of we're in it together and we're in it to win it. We're in it together and we're in it to win it. And we're better together. Number one, we are better together. We are so much better together.
Yeah, I agree. And so we spoke about that yesterday on the I believe, I don't know whether it was at Advocacy Day or on the bus, but the reassurance that we had up there when the Paltrow was up there,
Oh,
she spoke to it. Ali Webb spoke to it in regards to the balance, right? We always talk about that work-life balance. They were saying the same things, right? We're talking these celebrities, these people who are wealthy. They had the same type of conversation that we typically have, which is how do I balance work, life, children, all of it, same type of conversation.
mm-hmm.
And I remember Emma Greed said it. She said, there are times when my children miss me, my husband miss me, and I don't do the best job at work, but it's all okay. Like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself grace. It's okay. And I'm like, we are friends. Like, we're friends, right? She gets me. She gets me because, I don't know about you guys. At OBM, again, we spoke about that. Sometimes you think you're in it alone and you're like, oh my gosh, and we beat ourselves up. And just to kind of hear it, and it wasn't just the females, it was so many
The men too, yes.
men too. Like, it was so, of course we're talking about this business summit that we were at, but there were a bunch of humans there, right? And you had so many beautiful moments where people are just, we're waiting in line with food, with for food, and I'm turning around and we're talking to one of the, well, where are you from? Oh my goodness, sis, you look good. You look, everybody says high five. Okay, and we had our shirts that said our state. They was like Pennsylvania. It was so much love, so much support. I didn't know these people, right? But even in that, there was so much power in the room of, there was so much love and like-mindedness. And some people had graduated 10 years ago. So I don't know if it's 10. I know I was graduated years ago, and some just graduated right 1 year ago, but we all had something in common, and it felt so amazing to be there. I didn't feel intimidated, not one time, not one time.
Not me either.
Nope.
I don't like to go into crowds, right? Devon was pushing me. I think I bumped into Devon at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7. I don't know. The very first day of the summit, Devon was like, he's more talkative than I am. He's very comfortable in his space and he's just talking. And then he's talking to people and he's like, I think you need to meet the Maris Alvarado. And then he'll just turn around, introduce me to the person and leave. I was just like, Devon, I'm going to kill you. So he just threw me into that space. And I'm glad that you did. And I want to thank you for that. Because today, I think it was yesterday, I bumped into Puerto Rico, but people were in Puerto Rico, and I thought that was very intriguing, right? Because I come from a business that I hardly see, that unity. So seeing these small business people from Puerto Rico, and I just jumped in the middle like, "Wepa!" I was like, "Where are you from? Give me your card. Give me this. Give me that. I want to go to Puerto Rico." So it was like I was empowered to do that. I felt like I belonged in the room, right? Like I belonged in the room, and that is really, really important to me. How about you, Devon?
Yeah. The some look. One of the things that I realized going there and seeing all those folks is that right. We're all in this thing together, right? We're all going through the same struggles. But what I really saw was that Goldman Sachs set the foundation that created. It's kind of that environment that says you go in there and show up
Yeah.
100% you, right? That's what you're gonna go do. We're setting the stage that you don't have to worry about anything. Just go do what you do. And what it struck me is how much more could we be when we don't have to worry about schedule or time or cost or this or that. And it's like, look, show up and go do what you do, right? And you go in the room, your presence is there, you're looking like, this is my room. Like, they did this for me, right? Like, I am privileged to be amongst 2,500 business owners that are going to do things that are going to change the world, right? Like, I am there and I'm like, I'm looking at the stage and I'm like, I think they're going to invite me up on that stage one day. And I'm like, yeah. I'm
No,
like,
you don't think
but
they will. They
Absolutely.
will.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They
so
will.
Yeah.
Right.
it was great for me to see so many people. And at no point did I look like, oh, wait a minute, where are the black people? Like, it's just me, right? Like, where the Hispanic? Like, where are they? And I'm like,
Nope.
it that was out of the window, right?
The
So now it's like,
representation was
okay,
amazing.
It was
you don't
well
have to look,
represented.
Yes.
Yes.
you don't have to look for like people who look like you are a tribe, right? So now
Mhm.
it's just that's not a worry. Like, so now is I'm not looking for, oh, I see another black guy. All right, we can go talk. Now it's like, you know what? I see people
Yes.
that are going through the things I'm going through. And it was just people had different clothes on. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta talk to this person. Oh, I'm going over here.
Right.
And it was just really that environment that allowed us to share. So kudos to Goldman. They kind of solidified to me, right, that you've got to bring more people on to the things that you want to do. You've got to reach out. You've got to touch other people because they're going to bring other insights. They're going to bring other points of views, and they're going to bring other money, right? So hey, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Something is interesting. You mentioned that I could, maybe they'll invite me one day. I shared with the ladies. I'm watching them up there in their podcast, this form, and I was like, I felt like, when we were children, they would always say, kind of give children representations of who they could be or give them opportunities so that they could see themselves or, see the possibilities. And I felt like this summit did that. That moment watching them up on that stage, I looked at my ladies and was like, that's us.
Yes.
That's us.
Yes. I was like, Leah, you see that set? We doing it.
I was like, they had the cheers. I was like,
Right. I was like, you did say that. I was like, you know what? I'll go up there with Spanglish and all, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm
we
going to be okay.
real people, right?
Yep.
We come with who we are, and that's what we want. Like, and I don't feel like anyone, I felt like everyone was authentically themselves, at the summit, even on stage, right? It wasn't all, they were laughing and calling people out in the crowd, and so I love that about it is that there were so many opportunities for me to say, you know what, that is what I want to do. That is who I want to have a conversation with. Like it was I am not one of those people. But after I had the class with Melissa, she was walking and I was like, I don't know if y'all read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, but it talks about, right, you're nervous to do it and you talk yourself out of it. You count down from 5 and you just do it. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. And I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like, can I have a picture with you? I really enjoyed it. I don't do that. And
Yeah.
she was like, okay. And even after that, I felt empowered because I was challenged to do that. Like in that moment, I felt like I'm just going to do it, and I did. And even though it was a photo, it really was deeper than that for me. So I felt like this summit gave me opportunities to say, that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be. I want to be in that room, and I want to partner with them. Asahi, yep. I want to speak with her. Like even the Black in Businesses graduation, I want to be a mentor for ladies such as this, right? So those moments, it was so many of those moments where I was like, yep, let me write that down. Let me write that down. So that was key to me.
Yeah. The greatest thing for me was being able to have my family there. My 11-year-old can't, she's there and she's like, Dad, this is it. To the point where she called her sister, and her sister was like, "You're doing what?" She's like, "Dad, I want to come down." Like, got in the car Monday night, drove down just so she could be in that space. And I saw saw both of them. My wife was there, and really, they were able to kind of enjoy the moment, kind of see that, wow, like this is phenomenal, right? And there's a difference. I watch, like, I can see my 11-year-old, like, I can see her brain go like, oh, I'm about to get in this. Like, I could see her looking like, yeah, I could, and shoulder
Do that,
start moving
right?
back a little, walking around like, Dad, that's what you do. It's like, I know. So now she's like, she goes and she makes me a bracelet. Like, I got a 10
That's
KSB
my
bracelet.
daddy.
Let me
That's my
rock it. Let me
daddy.
rock it. Like, see my
I love
colors.
your
See the
bracelet.
colors.
I
She
love
came
that.
back. She's like, Dad, look. And I'm like, what's this? She's like, it's your 10 KSB bracelet. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Wow. It was still on her
Hey,
mind.
talking about that, you might want to show that to 10 KSB and have him make her a vendor. One thing Obiama and Aaliyah and I were talking is to a lot of the vendors. One of the things that we respected, or I respect so much, is that they I think the majority of the vendors, the food vendors, the ice cream vendor. I know there was someone there from South Philly. The coffee shop, the coffee bean shop, everybody. They were all the vendors that I met were actually 10 KSB members. Like, they were actually entrepreneurs and they hired them to host the whole entire thing. I love the fact that they kept the money with the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it says a lot about 10 KSB, right? And the commitment to walk the talk. I love that. To really call. I met someone from Florida. I believe I can't remember the business name. Obiama, jump in if you remember. But she was saying, yeah, they hired me for 2,500
yeah.
ice
Mhm.
creams.
I don't know her name, but
I
yes,
remember her name, and she was so sweet. And then she was
she
telling me
was.
like how nervous she was. Right? She thought she had to donate when she received the call. She thought she
Right.
was going to do an in kind, and she said her story was that they were like, no, we want to pay you for this, and she's like, well, it's going to cost a lot of money. I have to import it from Florida. You in DC, go get ice cream in DC. And they're like, no, we want it from you. And whatever the cost is, that's what we're going to do it. So can you, commit to that? And she was so excited to have that opportunity, right? To have this big contract. And I know you and I were talking to another vendor as well, Devon, that she was doing some other stuff in there as well. I think it was some food vendoring, somebody from Argentina and everything. And I just thought that was such a beautiful thing that 10KSB did, apart from the summit and all the other fabulous things. But that was really what held me to my heart, because I'm all about walk the talk, and all the vendors were there. There were people from 10KSB, and I think that's just fabulous.
Yeah.
So kudos. And by the way, I guess we needed to start this with saying that we're not sponsoring 10KSB. We're recommending, but we're not paid sponsors. We just want to make sure that you guys know.
Right. We're not paid sponsors. And one of the things that I think I shared with Aaliyah, I don't know if I shared, I don't know, on the first day, for me, I was taking in the marketing and the branding. And I was like, they are showing us how to show up.
Yeah.
They are showing us because everywhere you turned, it was branded 10 Casby. And when we showed up in that ballpark, I was so blown away of how they took over the park with the branding. I was so impressed. It was like, no, this is how you position yourself. This is how you have presence. I mean, they really showed up in the ballpark, like
Yeah.
through and through, with everything, with the
Everywhere.
decals and the
Yep.
pop-ups and the banners and the like everything. I was like, okay.
The home plate was covered.
Yeah.
I think the pitcher's mount was covered as well.
Right.
The
How
home
about jerseys in the dugout when we went into the locker room?
Yeah.
I
And
thought
the batting.
Right.
The
No,
batting.
they weren't players. It was all 10
they were
Casby.
all 10K. Yes. Everywhere you went.
Everywhere you went. I said, this how you show up.
Yeah, kudos to their marketing team because they did an
Yeah,
amazing job.
it was all learning. It was like I said earlier, right? Like that's what I was taking in. Like I get it, right? Like they're like, look, when you leave here, what you're gonna remember is Goldman. They know how to do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Here's what's interesting. I came back to the hotel. They had another program that was starting. It was for HBCU. They had a symposium. So I'm there and I'm like, I'm about to go in this room. Like wear my badge, I don't care. And I met a woman from Barclays. And I told her, she's like, you're in 10 KSB? And she's like, they know how to do it. And I'm like, but you were at Barclays. She's like, they know how to do it. And I was like, really? She's like, look, when it comes to how you put on an event, Goldman knows what to do. I'm like, wow. If you're from another bank and you're like, that program that you're in, they get it. They know what to do. So for me, it was just all around impressive.
I agree.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing too, to the point that you just made, Devon. It's about securing the bag. It's about strategic partnerships, and it's about giving more than you receive. And so, being as though that Goldman Sachs historically is a financial institution, what better way to secure the financial, stability and sustainability of your prospects, right? Check that out. Like, we didn't know who Goldman Sachs was until we had the opportunity to be in their program. Ain't nobody know who Goldman Sachs was.
Mm-mm.
I just see him. I was like, Goldman, I don't even make enough money for them to talk to me, right?
Right.
Like I'm gonna go next to the bank. Now I'm like, yo, can I bank with y'all? Like,
Right.
Yes. All I remember years ago, some of the scandal, it went from that to now it's associated with 10,000 small businesses. That's just that. And it's such a good point that you bring up, right? Including what we're doing right now. Like we are talking about it to the point where they're typically recruiting, right? The marketing was, right? We're marketing right now, whether it's not paid, right? We're just talking about our experience and honesty because we care about the community and our people, and this is the impact, and the whole purpose is to share with our community. We want to tell you guys so that for those who want the same thing, you totally have the opportunity to do that. And it's interesting. I'm thinking about the photos that we took. They were branded, right? It had everything. So the more we shared, we were marketing for them, right? Like even if we were marketing for ourselves, like sharing what we're doing, we're sharing what they are doing.
The
so
hashtags and everything, absolutely everything. One thing, coming back to the, I want to say I did. I used the hashtags in every social media outlook outward I had. One thing I noticed is that growth in our early childcare providers in the Goldman Sachs. I was really excited to see many, people that are new, people that just graduated, older folks coming together and creating that unity space of education. That was important to me too. That was like the icing on the cake, right? To be amongst, the childcare providers that had the opportunity to have the same experience that we've had, right? And to be at that table to know to be sustainable. They're not alone, right? There are some systems that are just not there yet. The systems that we are in the ECE space, and having Goldman Sachs really opening up the door to the ECE providers and giving them the opportunities, right? I posted something on I think it was LinkedIn, and another ECE provider said, I just got accepted and I can't wait, blah, blah, blah. So it was amazing to kind of like see the people that already graduate and the people that I know that are going in, right? And they're going in full force, knowing that, looking at us, right? Looking at our hashtags and our pictures on social media, understanding that we're networking, we're doing our thing. Goldman Sachs is our community. This is what we are. We have a community amongst of 2,500 other business mind-like people, and to become part of that, it's just empowering to me. I'm really excited about that for the ECE community. And I do encourage it.
Yeah, listen, and I feel like when we saw them, there was so much love. There was not not any feeling of competition or anything like that. It was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, we're here.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know there were that many childcare providers who had gone through the program. And then, so Damaris, in our advocacy day groups, I feel like those who were not in childcare advocated more for childcare.
Yeah.
Than I didn't have to.
When we started talking.
Literally, no. So I was there. I stood up and was proud to say this is exactly what we need. And I had a story in regards to coming through the program. My mom and I was raised in one, so I had a personal story. They had already bought it up. We can't get employees because they can't find childcare. They were advocating for childcare. I was looking around like we have partners. We literally have other advocates, and I was so proud of that moment that we were even on the agenda as like the top topics to speak to the legislators about. That was huge. And then
because we, again, and we say it all the time, Aaliyah, we're the workforce behind the workforce. That's it. That's plain simple. That's a point. Don't get me started in my advocacy, but we are the workforce behind the workforce. If you have employees and they cannot find childcare, and affordable childcare, right? Because let's talk about the affordability as well. And a child care center that they feel like their children are going to be safe, they're going to grow in, they're going to develop high quality and everything, then they can't go to work, point blank. So of course we're going to be in this merry-go-round. We are part of the economic growth, right? And legislators really need to really understand that, stop playing with our money. But at the end of the day, it'll be silly. And I'm so happy you said that, that we have other advocates, we have other people that are advocating, and because they understand how important this work is. So power is in numbers. And I appreciate so much 10KSB, fellow cohort members, really supporting us, and 10KSB for giving us that platform, right? Standing alone. It's not like we were a small business. No, we were child care centers. This is part of the agenda, and we were part of the agenda. So kudos to them. That's also my heart. I just loved everything about it. Everything.
Yeah.
So I was proud to be. This was a time, I don't know about how you guys have ever felt in rooms. I was proud to say the work that I had done. Not that I'm not ever, but there used to be times where it's like, okay, doctors, lawyers, this, that. What do you do? And it was like, because even at the advocacy day events, it was kind of like, oh my goodness, tell me more, right? And a lot of times you don't really hear that. Sometimes people don't understand the industry or understand what we do, but there was so much appreciation, and it was a proud moment too to represent the industry and tell people what we do, who we are, and then what we need. So, and the fact that the last thing, what I also love, they set this day up for us to have time with these legislators, but they taught you how to be strong in your ask. They had trainings before we spoke with them to say, this is how you show up stronger on social media. This is how you show up when you're speaking to the media. This is how you show up when you're speaking to the press. This is what you say. I was like, this is good.
Yes. Those trainings that they had for us, the social media and the digital marketing was rich. I mean, it was really, really rich. And I loved all of the PowerPoints that they gave us with the statistics. Like, we didn't have to make anything up. We didn't have to be nervous or anxious. They gave us everything that we needed to advocate for ourselves, and they really lifted our voice.
Agreed.
I heard I was in one of them. I just never got to see it. Someone bumped into me and said, "I knew that voice. You were just featured wherever," and I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "You missed it." I was like, I really didn't even know that they had it. I'm actually going to go back and see if I can find that clip, because if it even exists, it might have been somewhere else. Yeah, it was amazing. It was just an amazing journey. Devon, I just need to say that your wife is an amazing person. I got the honor of meeting her and spending some hours with her. She's also a very strong-minded business person as well. So we got to talk a little bit, So kudos to you. Your wife is an amazing person. Just thought you should know that.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you do know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she talks now. She's like, "Oh, I know the matter." and then she met Dr. Obiyama, right?
She did.
She was
I think
like,
she
"Wait a
already
minute, I
knew.
know her."
She already
I was
knew
like, "You
Obiyama.
do?"
Yeah.
I was like, she's like, "Yeah, I got friends over here. What you talking about?" I was like, "Okay," but her
and I
was,
connected a while ago, and just really had great connection and conversation. So spending time with her was just it was such a gift. It was such a gift. It really was.
So what's next? Like, what's next on your agenda, ladies? Like, what are you guys doing? Because I have so many thoughts in my head. I had so many that I had to write them down.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It really is. I think the great part about it is, right, we'll have ideas. I know me personally, I've had ideas, and it's like, this is what I want to do. But opportunities such as this allow me to like solidify, like, okay, I can frame it even better or have it more focused and define goals and say, okay, here is what I want to do. And then being able to have more connections, right? So it was all about networking as well. And you meet someone who, the one woman from Philadelphia was like, she was in media and photography and, all kinds of like promotional videos and things like that. So I know my goal, I've been talking about on social media outside of doing the work in the early childhood education program and my programs, but being able to share more about the business side in childcare, right? Really focus it. And I think it is similar to experiences that we've had with 10KSB. I follow the EOS model, which is very business, corporate organization. So just wanting to expose the industry to that so that we could be stronger business owners first and then, marry it with our passion. So that's kind of, my idea, and just trying to figure out a way though to package that for other childcare providers or leaders who want to scale their businesses and make it a stronger and sustainable business that can grow. So that's still my focus, but I think I'm learning how to streamline that even better, or not be all over the place and be distracted, but this is what it is, and having these defined goals with time frames. So that's what
pivoting.
I'm doing.
The magic word of the week. Pivoting.
Good way. They said don't be ashamed of the pivot in a good way. So.
Listen, you already know I'm with that all day, every day. Pause and pivot.
Pause and pivot. I think for me, I walked out of there, you guys already know that I'm working in a very passionate project of mine and really building more Latinx leaders in the community, and really providing them with opportunities to have successful businesses and opportunities as well, resources that are very, very lacking out there. We talked about the SBA not being very, very, very friendly, right? In general. So I imagine to folks that have English as a second language or have that English barrier. So that's something that really is dear to my heart in providing, those opportunities for others to grow as well and to do like the coaching and the mentorships and everything for them. and creating platforms where they can be successful. So, I was talking to Abiyama this morning, and I was like, I want a Latinx leadership. You know, we're going to do this leadership thing, and we're going to do this Latinx leadership to mentor, other business folks and how to be prepared for the Goldman Sachs, right? Because there's a couple of steps before that. I was very privileged. I told you already I was in business, so I had a few things. I already had my P&Ls in order. I already had these things because I already knew that business aspect. But a lot of my other Latina providers and business owners don't have that, and they need more supports, more holistic approaches, right, for them to be there. So I feel like this whole entire conference brought that together for me, and saying, this is what we're going to do, this is how we want to be able to support everybody to get where I'm at today, and even better. I don't even want them to be where I'm at. I want them to be where other, better, right? Because we're going to make small big, right? So this is what the goal was: make small big. So how do I bring my passion to the Latinx community to make that together, do a unified approach to really support them and get them on the go and become part of that 2,500 people from 10KNC, see more Latin people based on there and being successful and supporting their businesses as well.
Awesome. So for me, it was more about being really rock solid in my serve, right? And my request and my give, all of those things, just being crystal clear. And so even this conversation, Damaris, I'm thinking about our conversation this morning, which was so rich, and so I'm be calling you when this is over because I got a whole lot more ideas. I got so many more ideas, but it's like, how can you serve up even bigger? How can you have even more impact? Because one of the other things that was a huge thing for me was the philanthropy piece, the charity piece. Mm-hmm. And I'm a huge giver. In 2022, this was my year of service. So, just hearing how much they all gave, like the chef talking about how he turned the restaurant into a community kitchen, and all the people he fed, like that. I'm here for all of that. I'm here for all of that, because we need to give more than we ask at the end of the day. Right. And so that was my big takeaway.
Devon, what's your takeaway? Where's the next steps? You want to share that with folks?
So I've got to do my wife said, look, Devon, there was so much richness. We got to do a download this weekend and just kind of start prioritizing where our focus is going to be. So there's I've got like a bunch of 1As, but really prioritizing kind of what's ready now, what's what's a beautiful distraction, because some of them show up, they're like, hey, that's cool, but then you're like, that's a really beautiful distraction, right? Like, it's good, but you're like, not what's going to get me what I really want, even though if you do it, it turns out to something good, but it kind of can move you away from where you really want to go. So we're going to do a download this weekend and then kind of prioritize and look at those beautiful distractions and say, all right, stay beautiful. We're just going to move you over to the side and really focus on what we've got to do. So special things to come. I will, Damaris, I'll keep you in the loop, let you know what's going on. So when you see me on the stage, just know, he's there.
Nah, I'm going to be in the front row like, yes, I told you cohort 23 was it.
I love it. Yes.
Awesome. Oh. Well, this has been such a juicy conversation. And so for all of you who have been listening, and we really encourage you to position yourself if you are not currently in a place where you feel like you can apply or that you are ready. Just know that this is accessible, it is available, and it is for you. It is for you. Too many times we talk ourselves out of things because we think that it's out of our reach. But this is something that is within your reach, and you have not because you ask not. So simply just ask. If this is something that you think, you want to do it. Do it. Not all things are possible, and you can definitely inbox any one of us. We're on social media, we're accessible, and it's really just about getting in the right room, connecting with the right people and the right system so that you can get the results that you desire. So this has been the impact.
Yes.
Thank you, Devon.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. It's been great as usual. So guys, don't be ashamed to ask, right? Like, I wish I got to find some notes from negotiation. A number of us spoke about that. So, dig deep from within and
I got all the notes.
There we go. And share it because there's so much power in the ask. So thank you for joining us. Share comments, thoughts after you watch this. And again, don't be afraid to let us know what you want us to talk about. And until next time, we are with you every first and third Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.